air. It's our right. A safe climate.
It's our right.
True environmental justice for all communities across New York State.
It's our right.
Our New York Green Amendment.
It's our right.
It's our right. It's our right. It's our right.
It's our right.
Awesome. Keep going. That's awesome. Well, I'm so pleased that all of you are here today. Thank you so, so much. It was nearly 3 years ago that we recognized, we the people of New York, recognized that our New York government officials were failing to fully and fairly protect our environment for all people and all generations. And that we, the people of New York, needed to do something about it. And that, in fact, we could do something about it. So we used our democratic system. We advocated, we rallied, we demanded, and then we voted. And we amended our New York State Constitution so that it now recognizes and protects our inalienable human right to a clean, safe, and healthy environment. Woo! Through the passage of our New York Green Amendment, we made clear to our governor, our attorney general, our Department of Environmental Conservation, our legislators, and all government officials here in the state of New York that you have an obligation to protect the environmental rights of all the people of the state of New York. And we had hoped that they would embrace this obligation.
Yes.
And more than that, we had hoped that they would see it as an opportunity to better protect our environment and to ensure true environmental justice for all the people of New York and all the generations to come. But unfortunately, our government officials have been letting us down. They've not been embracing the opportunity or the obligation in our New York Green Amendment. In fact, they've been seeking to diminish it, to say it doesn't really change anything. And the government, in fact, is in court right now, today, saying that it is up to their discretion, meaning their choice, to decide how, when, to what degree, where, or even if they should enforce New York State laws necessary to protect the environmental rights of the people who are being impacted by pollution and environmental devastation. Well, we are here today to say to them, it's not your choice. It's our right.
That's right.
And you must always protect our rights.
That's right.
Since I founded the Green Amendment movement in 2014, we secured our New York Green Amendment. We have enforced our Pennsylvania Green Amendment in powerful ways. Montana has used its Green Amendment to great effect, most recently for the climate. And now we're working with communities in over 20 other states to secure this most powerful protection. And the reason why I tell you this, because very literally, communities across the nation are watching New York State right now. They want to know if securing a Green Amendment really makes a difference. Yeah. And so part of what we're doing here today is to say to them, yes, it does make a difference. And we're making sure that our New York government officials know that as well. We are here today to tell our New York leaders that our New York Green Amendment and our environmental rights are not discretionary. They are mandatory, because when it comes to the environment, right now, here, today, in the state of New York, it is not just an inalienable right we have to a clean, safe, and healthy environment. It's a constitutional right. It's our right. It's our right. It's our right. And so now I want to welcome to the podium one of the key people that are the reasons why we have this right in New York State. Senator Robert Jackson, who was the lead champion in the Senate advancing our New York Green Amendment. Senator?
Well, thank you, and good afternoon, everyone. So thank you for inviting me to Albany. I drove up and got up here about 20 minutes ago with 3 interns that are in our office working, Sam, Janelle, and Rebecca. They're high school, right? And going off to college. So that's a good thing. And Sam, where's Sam at? Sam Fine is our policy director up here in Albany. So I'm so happy to be here. I used to say, every citizen of New York State, I said, no, wait a minute. There's more than citizens that live in New York State, all of us together. Every resident in New York State is entitled to clean air, clean water, and a healthy environment. Is that right?
Yes!
And you know, it is right. And I remember going back many years ago when I felt that the city of New York, the state of New York, was not providing the type of education that our children rightfully deserve. And so I challenged them in court. And let me just go to my notes here, if you don't mind. I challenged them in court that the state constitution did not guarantee our children the right to receive a sound basic education. And now it's in the Constitution. And we fought the system for 13 years, but we won. Because when you're right, you're going to fight for your rights. And that's what we did then, and that's what we're doing right now. It's all right. 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 Now you see I'm turning to the governor's office, the attorney general's office, and DEC. Because we have to tell them, you got to get on the right program here. You're on the wrong station. The station is the people of New York State, basically the people that pay your salary, the people that do what we have to do in order to make sure that you are doing what's right. And you know one thing? It's not like you said, well, no, you don't have that right. It's our right in the Constitution because you know, like I know, what it took. So you have to pass a law during one term of office. You know, we, the state Senate and the state Assembly, is in office every 2 years. So we passed it 1 year. Great. And the next year, we passed it. Great. And now it went to the great people of New York State. And you know what they said? Over 70% of the people who voted said, yes, we are entitled to clean air, clean water, and a healthful environment. That's what it's about. And you know one thing? Are you like me? Are you ready to stand up and challenge them in court? The DEC or the Attorney General's office or the governor that's going to tell us that we're not entitled to it, that they have to make the decision whether we are or we're not? Hell no, we won't go. We will fight you on that. Because, you know, if you live in an environment where there's a company and then there's spewing all of this pollution out that you, your families, your friends are breathing it all in, you're going to wind up getting sick. Yes. But so let me just say, thank you for inviting me. I made it my obligation to be here because I truly believe in what the message is. The Green Amendment means we are entitled under the law, state law, Constitution, not only law, the state Constitution, that guarantee us that right. And so anyone that's willing to not give us our right, we're going to fight them for it.
And now I want to welcome up Ivon Taylor from Seneca Lake Guardian. They are out there right now using the New York Green Amendment in court in order to protect communities from devastating pollution.
Woo! Thank you, Maya. Let's have a shout out for Maya Van Rossum. Yeah. If it were not for Maya, we would not have the Green Amendment in New York State. So thank you, Maya. I am proud to be here today to call on the state to strengthen and uphold the protections that New Yorkers resoundingly voted for. The constitutional right to clean air, clean water, and a healthful environment, which is now guaranteed by our Green Amendment. It's been incredibly disheartening to see our elected officials and government agencies that exist to defend these rights attempt to dismantle them instead. Our rights to clean air, water, and a healthful environment are protected equally, the same as our fundamental rights to freedom of speech or freedom of religion. Governor Hochul and the Attorney General can't pick and choose which parts of the Constitution to defend. It's time for them to face the obligation to the environment and to New Yorkers that is written in the law. We know Attorney General James has stepped up when polluters are infringing on our rights, like when she launched a lawsuit against Pepsi for its plastic pollution and contamination of our waterways. And that's exactly the kind of action we, as private citizens, are trying to take in our community by rightfully launching a lawsuit against Seneca Meadows, an ironic name for New York State's largest landfill. For decades, this dump has poisoned our community, and the Department of Environmental Conservation has failed to protect us as it harms our air, our health, pollutes waterways throughout the state, and undermines our climate law. Seneca Falls, New York is the birthplace of women's rights, where we ensured women across the nation the right to vote. Is Governor Hochul, New York's first female governor, going to sit back and literally trash the birthplace of women's rights? That would be a horrible legacy for the first female governor of the state to leave. I'm joined by some of our fellow plaintiffs, Val Sandless and Heather Benetti, and Mark Pittifer. Val had to leave her longtime faith community behind because of its proximity to the landfill and its poisonous odors. As Senator Jackson said, Heather works for the school where children trying to learn are overwhelmed by nausea and inability to focus during the landfills because of the landfill's stench. Mark represents a large, sustainable employer across the street from the landfill where they are having trouble recruiting and retaining employees because of the sickening stench, and now they're reconsidering a planned expansion of their business. Our neighbors are dying from lung cancer at a higher rate than other counties across New York State. Enough is enough. Seneca Meadows is indisputably violating our rights to clean air, water, and a healthful environment. What's more, Seneca County is located on Haudenosaunee lands, which unjustly have been some of the most polluted areas of North America throughout history. The dump is incredibly disruptive to the community character and environmental health of the region, disproportionately harming this population. Neither the state nor the landfill have addressed these problems, but the Green Amendment gives the people the right to address it ourselves. It's time for our leaders and the agencies that are tasked with upholding these protections to recognize and uphold the power of the Green Amendment to guarantee a cleaner, healthier, more sustainable future for New York. Thank you.
It's all right. It's all right. It's all right. It's all right.
So now I would like to invite Saum Sam George of the Cayuga Nation. Saum Sam George is one of the original environmentalists, and he's come as a guest to our rally to share with us his wisdom on environmental rights and protection.
Do
you want me to move that? Can I move it?
Pero Seguego, Saum Sam George, Bear Clan, Cayuga Nation. I've been entitled to, my ancestors were here a long time ago, They were the original environmentalists, and then now I am here to carry on that duty for them, for those that aren't here yet. Both people had mentioned those that aren't here yet, those future kids here. The children that are here, they don't have what we had. When I grew up, there was clean water. You could drink the same water you swam in. You could eat the fish. You could eat everything that was in there and on around it. Now it's not that way. So we need to clean this up as best we can. I came here in 2014 to be good neighbors to all the people that are in the neighborhood. And I've been spreading that word around Cayuga Lake since the last 10 years. Still doing it, wanting people to know. And when Ivon asked me to be a part of this, I would say definitely, because that's what we've been doing. And it's good to see that there are other people informed and want to do something about clean water and clean air and environmental to live in. Because that's what we've been fighting for a long time now. And we need to keep on going. One of the things I wanted to say is I want you all to give thanks for the land you're standing on. That's our mother. Our mother. And we need to protect her as much as possible, just like we would do our own mothers. To do whatever we can to help them have a healthy life. And we need to do that for our own. And on my brothers and sisters, you're standing around in their shade. I'm related to all of them. They're all my relatives, and so are you. And so let's keep on going and get this thing through. And hopefully that, the first most important words I heard today was, we the people. That came from our Constitution, the Haudenosaunee Constitution. Are the first words of our Constitution is we the people. Because the people make decisions, not one person. So if your person that you voted for is not doing what you think they need to be doing, then maybe they need to be voted out. They don't know how to take care of you. I know some of them are getting paid by the big money because that's why they're still there. We all need to be re-educated on what's going on here. And I see a lot of it going on. And what I don't understand is why those people are still in office when they can't do for the people. Now, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Saum Sam George. So now I'd like to call to the podium Dr. Anthony Andrade. He is widely known for his leadership in helping to defend New York State, our nation, and our world from the ravages of fracking. And today, Tony is a great advocate for green amendments nationwide and was really important to the effort to secure a green amendment here in the state of New York.
Thank you, Maya, and good afternoon, everyone. Each person has a right to clean air, clean water, and a healthful environment. We know that. We've already heard today, and you already know that all the legal actions regarding the enforcement of the Green Amendment are underway. I'll sort of start at the beginning. So the Green Amendment is under legal challenge. There were early rulings that says it's self-executing. The legislature does not need to do anything more about it. It's not an option of the state to enforce it. And yet, our government and our regulators and our judicial system are challenging the Green Amendment, as you've heard. So our Attorney General says the legislature has to define something so opaque as clean air. Let's see, clean air is the absence of bad air. But the DEC continues to permit bad air. How about that? It's amazing. And the governor. So she has the opportunity with a bill that's been on her desk for months to put the final nail in the coffin of fracking in New York State. The bill is languishing there, waiting for a deal. As you just heard, there are too many deals in New York State. But I'm not a lawyer. I'm not going to discuss anything more about the legalities or all the legalese that's going on. I'm a scientist and an engineer. And I am absolutely confident that continuously emerging science will continue to underpin those rights: clean air, clean water, and a healthful environment. But at the same time, I'm also concerned that all the legalese will be submerged by a tsunami of actual harms to those rights. Yes, science is screaming. We are in a climate emergency. We don't have any options. There's no time to wait, no time to waste. We are late for a very important date. That's the date when worldwide the total consumption of energy flattens. We're waiting for the day when the rate at which green renewables replace fossil fuels faster than our consumption of energy. Yes. We're waiting for the day when actual emissions of greenhouse gases actually decrease. We're waiting for a day when our children and our grandchildren can point to the Green Amendment and say, it's because of that that day has been reached.
Woo!
But these benefits of the Green Amendment, as I said, are being challenged. And it's obvious in New York State that the ongoing and forthcoming challenges will be in the enforcement of another law called the Community Protection and Climate Leadership Act, CLCPA. Yes. 5 years on the books. Yesterday, I don't know if you heard this, but quietly, meekly, somebody in Albany said, we're way behind in meeting all of the goals of the CLCPA. We are not decreasing fossil fuel emissions anywhere near the rate in all sectors that we promised by 2030, 2040, and 2050. We have to move faster. We have to move stronger. But as we all know, the faster we move, the harder we push, the harder the resistance. What's the big cudgel? What is the big cudgel we use to overcome that resistance? And yet the state is saying, nah, So, respectfully as I can, stop the emissions. Fossil fuels. I respectfully ask the governor and the attorney general and the leadership of DEC to unleash the Green Amendment. Not curtail it, not choke it, unleash it. Yeah. It's the greatest force that we have for getting New York State where it needs to be, and by example, getting all the other states, and by example, all the other countries to have their own Green Amendments. Thank you.
Thank you, Tony. So next, I'd like to call up Merton Simpson. He is an Albany County legislator, District 2, which includes the neighborhoods of Arbor Hill, Sheraton Hollow, Washington Park, and West Hill. Mert is a powerful advocate for climate and community protection and environmental justice. Mert?
Well, I'd just like to thank Maya for her great leadership in this Green Amendment. It's necessary. You would think that, it's intuitively obvious that air and water are natural to basic alimentation. But when you have a society that commodifies everything, think about the concept of law of the sea or airspace. People were, mad at the people of Zimbabwe because they didn't think one person should have a plantation that's 10,000 acres. The land, most people on the planet understand that human beings are an integral part of nature. But somehow we have these people who commoditize everything, who think that you can defoliate the biosphere that you live in. We have to understand the harmony between human beings and nature and act accordingly. This Monday, we had a major press conference not very far from here at the 79 Sheridan Avenue steam plant. And we had about 12 families that had several members that had stage 4 cancer. The Sheridan Avenue steam plant since 1911 has polluted and continues to pollute the neighborhoods around Sheridan Hollow. And so we had people there who lived in that area between the 50s and 70s who talked about the coal ash that they had to change their clothes and wash their hair before they came into the house. Between 1981 and 1994, Mayor Corning said he was going to be able to burn trash at a high enough temperature so that it wouldn't be toxic. Unfortunately, the surrounding neighbors have large numbers of cancer. One of the families that spoke Monday had about 6 people who died in a 3-year period with stage 4 cancer. So between a 4 and 8 block radius, you have anywhere between 20 and 30 families, not individuals, families, with an average of more than 4 people with stage 4 cancer. I myself am being looked at for some paraproteins that might lead to blood cancer. So far, I'm on the right side of that. But the thing about cancer is it doesn't come up until it comes up, so you have to look at it. But you know, the governor met recently with the Pope to talk about climate change. But my old friends would say that she's more like a dirty foot queen preaching in her underwear. The 79 Sheridan Avenue plant daily gets frack gas from Pennsylvania to fuel the entire 98-acre Empire State Plaza. We have a bill that we're promoting that would take the Capitol and the surrounding buildings off frack gas and deal primarily with geothermal and other green energy. But the bill that we're proposing is significant for 2 reasons. Number one, the actual physical local impact is significant. It includes the 2 largest buildings outside of New York City. Now those buildings are not very large, but in terms of the local impact they are. It's the Albany Smith building, which is right over there, and the Corning Tower, which is right over there. The bill that we're contemplating also has the very large education building, which is one of the largest buildings of its kind with like 90-foot Gothic columns. Also the museum. So when you look at the total physical impact is significant in terms of the local impact. But more importantly, we want to model green energy. The understanding of the state-of-the-art technology is not well known. So it's important that we have demonstration projects to show people what green energy can actually look like. And we have very serious examples. Now the argument that we keep getting is, oh, it's going to be too expensive. But the reality is, it's more expensive not to do what's right than to deal with what's the cost of a tornado that's a mile long and 200 miles wide. Yep. You know, what's the impact of the whole Southwest today having temperatures over an average of 100 degrees? The other day in Death Valley, it got to be 129 degrees. Somebody died of exposure in a motorcycle. It seems like Death Valley has the world record of 134.1 degrees of Fahrenheit. There's rumors that last year it got to be 138 degrees in Brazil. But in 10 years, how hot will it be right here in the Capital District? Each year in the last 10 years, it's been hotter and hotter. That trend is not going to stop. And so if you're a person that's a senior citizen without air conditioning, can you last 30 days at over 110 degree temperature? I don't think so. So the idea that we can treat climate change as if it's something that's just another budget item like a football stadium in Buffalo, you can't fool with Mother Nature. We're perilously close to the tipping point. And I don't understand our national leadership, which doesn't seem to care that their grandchildren will have a sustainable planet. We cannot continue to try to trifle 1 step forward and 2 steps back. We have to understand the responsibility we have to husband this planet for future generations. Right now, the trajectory we're on, our future generations will not make it. And so it's critically important that we do everything we can, because my fear is that even if we were doing everything possible, it might not be enough. But we're so far from doing everything that we can that we have to really redouble our efforts. So again, I want to thank Maya for her great leadership. And again, we have a serious responsibility to the future generations.
Now, that is the kind of government official we want to see here in the state of New York. Merton Simpson, Senator Jackson, they recognize the power of the Green Amendment. Now I'd like to call up Liz Moran with Earth Justice, who has been fighting to fully and fairly enforce the New York Green Amendment since we secured it 2.5 years ago.
Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. It's a beautiful day despite the ongoing climate crisis. My name is Liz Moran. I'm the New York policy advocate with Earth Justice. Earth Justice is the first and largest environmental legal nonprofit in the United States. So we've been saying this all along. People have the basic right and expectation that government is going to ensure that our air and water and environment is safe and healthy. And we've long known this morally, which is why it makes sense that over 70% of New Yorkers overwhelmingly said, we want this enshrined in our Constitution. Unfortunately, New Yorkers know all too well what it's like to not have something like this embodied in the law. I want to take us back to 2014, to a community not too far from Albany called Hoosick Falls, New York. I imagine many of you may even be familiar with this story. In 2014, it was uncovered that the drinking water in Hoosick Falls had been heavily polluted by toxic chemicals known as PFAS in their drinking water supplies. This was devastating news, but what made that even harder was learning that our own government was hiding this information from the public. This is shameful. This is a huge reason why people pushed for the Green Amendment. What if we had had this to begin with? Would the polluting company, St. Gobain Performance Plastics, been sited so close to a drinking water source? This is the type of forward decision-making we want to start seeing in New York State, but we haven't been seeing it yet. And now is an especially important time for New York State to be fulfilling the spirit of the Green Amendment. We don't have to look too far to see how badly things are going when it comes to the public interest at the federal scale. Unfortunately, there have been some devastating Supreme Court decisions recently that show why it is so important for a state like New York to step up and be a leader to protect our citizens. You may have heard a little bit about the Chevron doctrine. Most people wouldn't know about that, but the Supreme Court recently decided to overthrow the Chevron doctrine. What does that mean for us? It means that corporations can get free rein to challenge any decision, and judges, instead of experts, can decide what regulations are good and bad to protect people, rather than experts. That's unacceptable. Hawaii actually has set a model for us. In Hawaii, there was recently a court decision that said in their constitution, young people do have the right to be protected against climate change. This happened in June. New York should follow Hawaii's lead here. We really need to be using our Environmental Rights Act to make sure that New Yorkers are protected, especially in the face of a Supreme Court that is more invested in the interests of private corporations over the health of Americans. Thank you all so much. We have to keep fighting. New York is viewed as a national and global leader. We are the 10th largest economy in the world. What we do here matters, which is why New Yorkers have outspokenly said we need a right to a safe and healthful environment. So thank you all. Let's keep fighting.
Great. Thank you, Liz. And we've got one more speaker before we gather for a photo and march. As we all know, fighting for our earth, fighting for our communities requires all generations to come together. So now I'd like to invite to the podium Annika with the Delaware Riverkeeper Network, who has been an environmental activist since birth.
Hi everyone. Get ready to march, so start shaking it out, get ready to go, get all primed up. But my name is Annika Van Rossum and I am the Advocacy and Policy Coordinator at the Delaware Riverkeeper Network. But I'm also here today as a young person growing up in this world, and I'll tell you it is a really, really weird time, because I think we're probably one of the first, if not the only generation that actually has less rights than our parents and our grandparents before us. But here in New York State, we have the constitutional right that no generation before us has had, and many people in the U.S. still don't have yet. We have our constitutional right to clean air, clean water, a healthful environment, thanks to New York's Green Amendment. And I can tell you that there's something I know that young people every day feel the pressure to protect our world from all angles, whether you're a woman, whether you're fighting for your sexual orientation, whether you're fighting for who you love, whether you're fighting to breathe clean air. And it's really scary, and I think a lot of people wake up every day with the fear of what will my future look like, what will the future of generations to come after me look like, and how will we handle it. But in that same vein, I know that that fear is also met with courage. And especially in New York, where we have the power to go to the governor, to go to the DEC commissioner, and to go to the attorney general with the powerful backing of the Green Amendment to say, we have environmental rights, and you must not just uphold them, but actually defend them.
Yes.
Clean air, clean water, and a healthful environment are not just wants. They are not just desires, they are not privileges, they are the foundations of our survival. They do not belong or are more deserved by any one person or any group or any kind of person. They belong to us all, and they are the right of us all. And so we call upon our government officials to do their duty, to do what they were elected into office to do, to uphold and defend the rights of the people of New York, to defend the air and the water that they need just as much as the rest of us to survive and thrive in this world.
Yes.
Woo! And the New York Green Amendment isn't going anywhere, and the power of the people isn't going anywhere. And I know that today will not be the last day that our government will hear from us. And I'll just end with a positive note, and I will give our politicians the benefit of the doubt that I look forward to seeing Governor Kathy Hochul. I look forward to seeing Attorney General Letitia James, and I look forward to seeing Acting DEC Commissioner Sean Maher, and all of those who will come after them, upholding and defending the New York Green Amendment and the right of all people to clean air, clean water, and a healthful environment. Woo!
It's all right.
It's all right. It's all right. It's all right. Just wanted to give to you, this is signed by over 67 organizations in New York and individuals across the state of New York, and we're of course hoping that the DEC will take up the mantle of the Green Amendment and defend the environmental rights of not just everybody that came out today, but people across the state. And so I just wanted to give you that. So that is the petition by everybody. And we also have a gift from, so you're gonna pour it all the way down, boys. And so this has the organizations, and on the back it has a beautiful message that we hope you will display in your offices to remember all the great Green Amendment messaging and work, and then you guys will be inspired by it every day.
I will bring this upstairs, and I will give this to Interim Commissioner Sean Maher.
Great, thank you so much. We really appreciate it.